Hey everyone, welcome to Find Your Flow. I'm Natalie and you're watching day 5 of Release, No Knees Yoga. Now this is a really popular request. We're going to be strengthening a lot of the space around the knees, but this is also a really lovely practice for those of you who simply don't feel completely comfortable weight bearing on the knees. So make sure you hop into something super comfy and I'll meet you on the mat. Jumping right in, we're going to start in a mountain pose, and if it feels better for you to come to a chair or a seat you have next to you, that's absolutely fine, you can do that. Wherever we are, we just want our feet firmly on the ground, so we're really feeling the earth beneath all 4 corners of both feet. And we're finding a nice long spine from the tip of our tailbone to the crown of our head, a lovely long line. Relaxing the shoulders from beneath the ears, softening the jaw, just getting everything moving nice and softly, taking away any tension. And then placing the hands and noticing where we want to place them. They might be both hands on the stomach so we can really tune into our breath from here, or maybe the left hand on the heart or the right hand on the stomach. And so wherever you are today, just feel where you want to be. And we'll close the eyes or soften the gaze. And start to take some nice long inhales and exhales. And if we're standing, being mindful that we aren't locking in the knees. So keeping this micro bend here as we send some love to this space. And we're going to send lots and lots more love to this area, very delicate area, the knees and the surrounding areas. So in this practice, we're going to be flowing through some postures without putting any pressure on the knees. But it's always really, really important to remember that everybody's very different. So if we come to do something today and it doesn't necessarily feel great for you, just move out of it or move into a different, slight tweak the variation and make sure you're in a space that does feel good. But if at any time you need to just come and take a seat, come back to our mountain pose where we are now with our feet hips distance apart, then do so. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. And with every exhale, see if you can soften your shoulders a little bit more. If they're creeping up near the ears at any point during our practice, just become aware of this. Take a nice big exhale to release this tension. And just take a moment to think about why you've come to the mat today. What is your intention for this practice ahead? Lovely. Finding one more full breath here. Before inviting some movement into the body, opening the eyes if you'd like to, bending the knees slightly. We're going to reach the arms out wide, then all the way towards the sky, moving slowly. Gazing up if you can, and then releasing the arms. Nice, 2 more times. Reaching as far as we can to find lots of space in the torso. And releasing, lovely. Are we marrying this movement to our breath once more? But this time we're going to stay there. So exhale, keeping the arms wide, finding space between the palms. Imagining we are like a palm tree. So we're swaying in the wind over to the right, keeping the softness in the knees. And imagining we have cement from our hips down. So rather than putting our pressure on the side of this left hip, we're keeping our lower body nice and stable and really feeling this space through the left side body. One more breath here before coming all the way back to center, swaying our palm tree leaves over to the left. Breathing in. Breathing out. Finding one more breath here, keeping the knees soft. And then floating back to center. We'll send the hands behind us, reaching the arms back, lifting our heart space, lifting our gaze. Breathing in. As we breathe out, we'll float the palms together in front or towards each other as we round through the spine, chin towards the chest. Opening again, finding space as we breathe in. On your breath out, coming forwards, palms float together. Gorgeous. One more time. Move with your own breath. And coming all the way back to center, we're going to bring the chin towards the chest as we start to roll down the spine. Coming into a forward fold. Nice generous bend in the knees here. If you want to take some support underneath the hands from your at-home bricks, your dictionaries, then do so. We're just going to keep really soft and keep the feet, maybe we take them a little bit wider here just to send some extra love to the sacrum and lower back area. And if it feels good, just really gently rock from side to side, from the hips. Lovely. Are we still breathing here? And coming back to center whenever you're ready. And on your next inhale, lifting up halfway, finding a flat back. So maybe taking the hands behind you like airplane wings, or bringing the hands to the thighs, finding one breath here. And as you exhale, folding forwards. Bring the palms to the earth as we step both feet back. We're doing one downward facing dog today. So lift the hips up high. And really gently pedal through the heels. We're just sending some space to the bodies. Also getting a little bit of weight bearing on the wrists just to strengthen this area. We're only going to be here for 2 more breaths to keep this nice and soft and fluid. Lovely. Then whenever you're ready, walking the hands back to the feet, finding our forward fold. Lovely. Holding opposite hand to opposite elbow now as we sway really gently from side to side. We're keeping the crown of the head down towards the ground, head and neck really heavy. And then coming back to center on your inhale, lifting up halfway, your flat back. Maybe if there's space, the hands come down to the thighs, but only if we can keep away from this rounding and this collapse. On your next exhale, fold forwards and then start to roll up to standing really, really slowly. Press down through the feet to rise up. And really think about each vertebra of our spine, restacking one by one by one by one. Lovely. Our head and neck go up last of all. And staying in our mountain pose, checking our feet, checking our foundation, we're going to bring our hands to our sitting bones behind us. Taking a breath in. As we breathe out, send the sitting bones back and slightly bend the knees. Imagine that you're sitting down in a chair, but not quite. Just feel how this feels. If we need to have some support here, go ahead and take what we want. And then we can bring the hands either to the hips, or maybe it feels good bringing the palms together at the heart. But wherever we are, can we be really aware of the space around the pelvis? And if it's rocking too far forwards or too far back and we're getting this curve one way or the other, can we notice this and find this space right in the center of these 2 points? Imagine we have a mill pond around the pelvis. We don't want to spill it too much one way or the other. Lovely. And here in our chair pose, we're strengthening all of the space around the knees. So really being aware of this hamstrings, the thighs, the calves, the shins, all of the little slow twitch, fast twitch muscles that go into helping our knees stay nice and stable. Keeping this length in the spine as we soften the shoulders, finding one more breath here. And then lengthening the legs. Lovely, well done. Stepping the right foot forwards, finding a nice wide stance. We're going to turn the left toes out on a diagonal. So I'm stood as wide as my mat. If you have a mat, you might like to do the same, but really listen to what feels good for your body. We're going to spiral the back thigh forwards as we bend the front knee over the front ankle and find a warrior one. So we're rooting down through all four corners of both feet, reaching the arms and then softening the elbows, finding cactus arms. So enjoying your breath here. As we strengthen, but also lengthen, sending some lovely love to our hips here and the hip flexors. Finding one more breath before floating the hands to the hips, straightening through the front leg, but keeping a micro bend here. So being really mindful not to lock into the front leg and put lots of pressure on the knee. And then keeping the back thigh rolling forwards and lengthening through the spine. As we lengthen, we're going to fold and hinge from the hips. But as soon as our spine starts to round, that's where we stay. So notice where you are today. You can keep the hands on the hips, maybe the palms together at the heart, or if you have your props, it might feel good, fingertips resting on the top of your bricks. So wherever you are, feeling the ground through all four corners of both feet. Notice where your attention is here. Finding 2 more breaths. You can really think about lifting our heart space still forward so we aren't getting this collapse here. Nice, and pressing down to rise up, warrior one, bending the front knee. And then stepping the front foot to meet the back foot, just wiggling it out. Nice, and coming to find our warrior one on the other side. So we have our left foot forward, right foot back, taking a nice wide stance, sending some love to the lower back and sacrum as we spiral the back thigh forwards. And as we do this, don't worry if the hips don't come square on, it's just towards the front of the mat that we're looking for. So reaching the arms, softening the elbows, finding your Virabhadrasana one. Nice. And find something new here. If we notice something on the other side when we were doing this, can we notice something maybe different on this side? Can we soften our toes? Can we take any tension away from our jaw, maybe even smiling? And notice the space where we feel our breath the most in this posture. Is it the side of the ribs? Is it the chest, the stomach? Taking one more breath here before bringing the hands to the hips. We're going to straighten through the front leg, keeping this micro bend in the knee. As we keep lengthening through the spine, we'll hinge forwards. Nice, coming to your pyramid pose. Breathe here, take what support you need. Remember, if this at any point doesn't feel good for your knees, just take a step back, take a step out, and do what you need to do. Nice, finding one breath here. Before lightly pressing down to rise up, bending the front knee, warrior one. And stepping the back foot to meet the front foot, wiggling it out, mountain pose. So we're going to roll the chin down towards the chest as we come into a forward fold. On your next inhale, lift up halfway, finding your version of a flat back. And exhaling to fold, rooting down to rise up. This time arms reaching for the sky, take them nice and wide. Hands come together and down at the heart space. Lovely. Coming to step nice and wide on your mat, finding a wide-legged stance. So turning the toes to face forwards and a little bit in. So we're really rooting down through the knife edge of each foot. And then always keeping this lovely micro bend in the knees. If you need to take more of a bend, then do so. Listen to your body. And remember the space between your feet really depends on the length of your legs, the length of this, the length of that, the space you have in your hips. So make sure that you have a space in between your legs that feels great for you today. We're going to bring the hands onto the hips whenever we're ready, lengthening tall through the spine. And just like we did in our pyramid pose, we're going to hinge from the hips and come to forward, but keeping this length, really bringing the crown of the head and shooting it away towards me. Nice. And then taking our at-home prop, our brick, our dictionary, whatever we have, to the center of our feet. Bringing our right hand down, we're going to float the left hand across the rib cage and let it spiral the ribs open to the left and then reach towards the sky. Finding a juicy twist here, breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. Before sending the left hand down, replacing the right and reaching the right to the rib cage and then towards the sky. Nice. Only taking the gaze up if this feels good. If not, we can keep it down in the left hand. And coming all the way back, hands to the hips, lifting up to standing. And we're going to turn the left toes out and then step our right foot out slightly, and this time coming into a warrior two. So externally rotating both of our thighs, hands to the rib cage as the ribs open in between the legs to the right side of our mat, keeping our front knee bent, back leg nice and long. Reaching the arms out wherever the ribs are, softening through the shoulders, breathing here, feeling strong, feeling stable. Connecting to the ground to help build our strong foundation. And then floating the left forearm onto the left thigh. So notice if we're putting and dumping a lot of weight and a lot of pressure in this, can we keep this nice and light, more there as a support than as a table to rest our whole body weight on. And reaching the right hand forwards, all the way towards the sky and back like a windmill. Doing this 2 more times in this direction and then changing direction. We're just sending some love to the shoulder girdle. But see if we can also spiral the ribs out here. Are we moving with our breath? So whenever we've finished, I'm going to come to just reach the right hand towards the sky. Take a nice breath here in our side angle pose. And then pressing down to lift up, warrior two, one breath. Before pivoting the left foot forwards and coming back into our wide-legged stance. Rooting down through the knife edges, hands either on the hips or to the heart. As we keep lengthening, we'll fold forwards. Coming into our fold and taking the right hand straight away into our brick. Left hand to the rib cage as it spirals open to the left side and then reaches towards the sky. Nice twist here. Breathing in, breathing out, floating back down. Left hand replaces the right, spirals the ribs open and then reaches towards the sky. Gorgeous. Maybe the gaze lifts towards the hands, maybe it stays down towards the ground. Finding one more breath here, wherever you are. Before coming all the way back, hands to the hips as we root down to rise up. Coming to turn the right toes out now. And then step the left foot a bit wider, finding our warrior two on the other side. Thighs externally rotate, rib cage over to the left, arms reach. Taking a breath in. And a breath out. One more breath here. And before pivoting the right foot out, come into our wide-legged stance again. Setting up here as we fold forward, hinge from the hips. Nice soft bend in the knees. Left hand comes down, right hand reaches across the ribs and towards the sky. And right hand comes down. Left hand reaches across the ribs. Really feel this rotation as it reaches towards the sky. Gorgeous. Floating all the way back as we rise, this time turning the feet out. So noticing here that our thighs are externally rotating away from each other and away from the center of our mat, just like we did in a warrior two. And being mindful that our knees are bending over our feet and our toes, so they're not splaying in and putting pressure on this space. And what we're doing is we bend our knees a little bit more, coming into our goddess pose. We're using all of the support from our muscles around the knees to keep us nice and stable here. So if something doesn't feel good, maybe we can bring our stance a little bit closer together or a little wider. Really just play with this and work with what feels good for you. So bringing the hands to the hips, or palms together at the heart, or maybe we open into our cactus arms. And being aware of the space around the pelvis, just like we were in our chair pose. Are we rocking all the way back, all the way forwards? Can we find this space in the center, thinking about our mill pond? We're trying not to spill our water out of our basin. Lovely. Maybe we bend the knees a little bit more, sit back a little lower. Finding one more breath here. As we exhale, cross the left arm over the top of the right. Nice. And then bring the back of the hands or the palms towards each other. Don't worry, they don't have to touch. As we lift the elbows, we'll soften the shoulders, spending 3 breaths in our eagle arms. Lots of stuff going on here. If we need to straighten the legs and then come back down, we can do. If we need to straighten them and stay there, that is fine. Nice. On your final breath, release, float the arms wide and come to cross the right arm over the left. Gadamdasana arms on the other side. Lovely. Keeping the elbows lifted, shoulders soft, sending lots of love to that upper back body space as well. Nice, one more breath. And releasing the arms, releasing the legs, coming to stand back in our mountain pose. Whew. Shake everything out. Take a nice breath in, exhale out the mouth. Do this 2 more times. In through the nose. And once more. Make it a bit softer. Gorgeous. Bringing the chin towards the chest. Rolling down towards the ground. Into our forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling to lift up halfway, your version of a flat back. Exhale to fold. This time as we roll up, we're going to reach for the sky, floating the arms wide. Hands come together at the heart center. And closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Check in with how you feel here. Return back to the breath, return to this moment. I thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Honouring the divine light in each and every one of us. And from my heart to yours, I thank you. Namaste.